I think a lot of people are excited from a new video game coming out in a few weeks, NASCAR 25. We finally got our first looks at the trailers and the gameplay. Signs seem to be pretty positive here. Admittedly, the bar is incredibly low from where NASCAR 21 Ignition left it. But we did get word this week, some disappointing news for a lot of players and prospective customers, myself included. Steve Myers, an iRacing executive vice president over there, he said your pre-orders are now available, and you can go to the website, go online, go to your Xbox or PlayStation stores, and pre-order the game. And when pressed in the replies over when the physical pre-orders would be going live, Myers said, well, actually, it's digital only. So, Brandon, I certainly have some thoughts on this. I wanted to bring it up on the show tonight as somebody who has been very vocal about physical media in the past. But what are your thoughts on getting the confirmation from iRacing this week that there will not be, at least at launch? We'll see if they change their minds here with fans speaking up about it. But what's your reaction to the news that it's digital exclusive for NASCAR 25?
Well, I'm not too much of a fan of, if someone really wants a physical copy of this game on whatever platform they have, then I'm not too big of a fan of that. Now, at launch, I'm fine with it. I mean, I understand what the gaming industry is like now, where that's just the norm. That's how, we do things nowadays. It's a digital release only. I mean, I don't see any physical copies of Formula One games the past however many number of years.
I've got them.
You have them? Okay,
yep.
So they're making them. Okay.
They are, but they're not. Well, I'll get back to that in a second. But we'll
get there.
For that series, yes.
Okay. Well, maybe with the collector's edition or for the Champions edition, whatever they want to do, maybe they can make a physical copy. But I guess that I don't know if there's it certainly can't be a cost-cutting measure, can it? I mean, there's.
Can't imagine.
No, I mean they've got a bunch of budget, I'm sure, from the iRacing studios to do whatever they want with the official NASCAR license and all. But I mean, I'm looking as far as the game itself, the positive reviews from drivers and folks in the industry. It sounds like you're in for the best product since EA has had their hands on it easily, and certainly the most authentic console game as far as true to life, because they're taking the scans straight from the service onto this. I mean, they had the easiest blueprint to start out with because they've been doing this for so long. So really excited on that front. But as far as not having the box, yeah, as a collector, I could see that being an irk. And if you're able to get it with Formula One for a few years ago, I can see that being an irk too. But so how far ago or how recent do you have a Formula One box?
F1 25.
25. So they're putting them out. Okay.
They are.
So well, then I stand corrected. This is something that can be done.
But you're not entirely wrong. I'm glad you brought up the F1 games, because there is also a game called F1 Manager, which is a standalone series where you basically get to play the role of a team principal. And I will tell you, I bought F1 Manager 22. I bought F1 Manager 23. I did not buy F1 Manager 24 because, and some people can correct me if I'm wrong, I would be glad to be proven wrong if there's been a physical release that I haven't been aware of. But to my knowledge, F1 Manager 23 was the last time that series got a physical release. And that's the last time I bought the game. I'm just, it was a game that I kind of played on the side. I wasn't super into it, but, I'm a motorsports fan. I collect racing games. I was happy to have them on my shelf, but, it wasn't enough of a draw for me to make a digital only purchase there. And I'm trying to think of other examples. I think the sprint car, like Tony Stewart's sprint car racing or whatever that game was that came out. I'm not talking about the SRX game. There was a different game before that was originally only. I think that one I might have actually. So this will tell you how dedicated I am. I think I might have actually bought that one digital when it first came out, and then I saw a physical release a couple months later, and I bought the disc anyway because I wanted it on my shelf, even though I owned the digital rights to it. But that's the thing. That's why I get so vocal about this and speak up about this. And it's not just video games; it's movies and TV shows as well. You know, when you purchase something digitally, you're not really buying a copy of the game or the film or the TV series season or whatever. You're really just buying a license to stream it at any time you want. And we've seen this in the past too. There was a controversy with PlayStation, and I think it was Warner Brothers Discovery that they weren't going to be able to come to a deal to renew once the year flipped over from 23 to 24, and they basically sent out a message to their subscribers saying, "Hey, we're sorry, but if you purchase digital content, you're not going to have access to it after the new year." And then there was enough backlash that they found a deal at the 11th hour. But this is the thing, man. This cannot become the norm. I know, Brandon, you said it's becoming the norm. This cannot become the norm, especially for the first release of an officially licensed video game in 4 years for a mainstream sport in this country. Like if this were a cheap $10 or $20 game with a very niche audience, you're not going to sell that many copies. It's not going to be very widespread. Then like, I get it. And then maybe if the game outperforms expectations, maybe you offer a physical release later, like I was saying, but for games like that, maybe there is, cost effective measure there. Maybe it makes more sense to make the game something that you can only buy digitally online. But for something as mainline and mainstream as this, I see this as yet another blow for physical media, and it doesn't give me a lot of optimism for the IndyCar game that was just announced. It's going to be coming next year, but iRacing Studios is putting together. I'm very excited. We're getting a video game. I look forward to
finally, even after the failed launch of the last one.
And that one, I will tell you, that one I will buy regardless, because it's been, that one's been, my goodness, what, 22, 23 years.
What was it? It was IRL 2006.
It was IndyCar Series 2005.
Yeah.
Released in 2004 based on the 2003 season. I think it was very weird. Like they had 3 years covered based on however you count it. But
it had Nashville in it. That's all I know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But it's been over 2 decades. So I'll get that one regardless.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much it means. Like I'm just one customer here, although based on the Twitter replies, there were certainly a lot of people that agreed with me. This is definitely not going to be a day one purchase for me. I can tell you that much. I'll see if the price drops, on like Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, or Christmas holiday time.
Get you a Christmas Steam sale.
Yeah, something like that. But if it really is, and again, there's still time. I hope that they reconsider. I hope that it's maybe something that comes later. Maybe again, it's not like if it's digital exclusive, to get it 2 weeks early, but if you want a physical copy, you have to wait. Like that would just be annoying. But I would at least understand that a little bit more than not doing it at all. iRacing, you may have just lost a customer, and I'm just being real. I'm just being honest. I know that this might be my most boomer take. Like old man yells at cloud here. He wants his physical game to look at on his shelf, but I do.
No, not Ben.
I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing about that to anybody. And I'll even put the call out here because I've seen some people make like box art designs on social media this weekend as well. I'm dead serious because my friend Ethan Smith, one of his photos is on the cover. He was talking about how excited he was to see that.
Right.
And that he would be going out, and I think he said he was maybe going to buy a PS5 just to get this game. That's how excited he was, and understandably so. Seeing, I can only imagine how much pride he must take in seeing that cover art. But that's all it is. It's just cover art. It's not an actual cover. So if anybody's out there wants to, do a mock-up design of that, I would certainly be interested in paying a reasonable price and having that cover art shipped to me, and then I can put it in an empty case and put it on my shelf so that I can at least have it on display in my library of games. That's just who I am. That's how I roll, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. So I hope iRacing reconsiders. And I also hope Joe Samaniego brings up a good point in the comments too. Bummed that Portland International Raceway is not in the game. Neither.
They couldn't work a deal.
Yeah, well, neither is Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez from Mexico City. Those were the two big omissions for the game, and that's a Cup Series track.
That's like not having Pocono in Chase for the Cup.
In 2005, yeah, exactly. And I love 2005 Chase for the Cup, mostly because
my favorite.
I only had a Wii growing up, so I had to play the GameCube version, and that was all I had access to at the time. But
best soundtrack of all time.
Yeah, the soundtrack was great. The game was great, but that that is the game's biggest flaw and its biggest hole, is that it does not have a track that at the time the Cup Series went to 2 times a year, and so the schedule isn't accurate. It's really, quite frankly, again, I don't know. I'm sure licensing is a massive undertaking and a big hurdle that everybody has to clear, but it's really disappointing. Not obviously the physical release, getting that news this week, but that was the first major disappointment that we heard, that we got real tracks that are on the schedule that we're not going to see in the game, and that's something that I hope can come out as like a DLC or a patch or something a little bit later.
Surely, yeah.
Which again, like, listen, I get it. I get why the digital world certainly has its advantages, because it used to be the game was ready, you ship the discs out, and then what you see is what you get. There's not really much you can do after it. So if a game has a game-breaking glitch or is broken in any way, it's kind of hard to remedy that. And nowadays, like, the file sizes are so big that the disc really only has a small part of what you're installing, and a lot of it's coming through digitally anyway. So I understand all that, and I get that. I'm not totally, anti-digital media in that sense. I think there's a time and place for it, but it should not come at the complete expense of a physical release. And unfortunately, that appears to be the case of what's happened here.